All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta, and
At one Marcus Flowers.
we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment.
Subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscription.
Hey, don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network.
Keep it real.
Welcome back. We are at an eclipse of the Super Flow Bros podcast. We are at Volume 3, Episode 22, end of the volume here. I am your co-host at one Marcus Flowers, aka Flo, aka call me what you want, just don't call me lazy. And I am joined by...
Y'all know who it is. He who shall not be named. He who stands above everybody else. Metro Meta, your boy. I'm glad to be here, man.
Yeah, so just real quick, it's been about a week since we've recorded. How you feeling, man?
Pretty good. We got a lot of good content up on the channel. Of course, we had the Superflow Bros. We had the Dust Off. I did a little special event thing from one of my class projects, and I'm just happy to get back into the swing of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. So without further ado, let's just hop right in. So the Joker movie comes out in 2 weeks. Are you excited for that?
I am pretty excited for the new Joker movie. I think it's going to be interesting.
Why do you think it's going to be interesting?
Just the way they're playing it, it seems like more of a Logan, more cinematic, more just sort of Oscar baiting superhero film. And I think that is an interesting perspective way of looking at the Joker. And we've had like the perfect example with like Heath Ledger's, and we've had the weird millennial dumb version with like the last guy. So I'm interested to see this more grounded version of the Joker.
Okay, very cool. So have you been? So first thing up, Joaquin Felix or Jaquan? Am I saying it right? Joaquin Phoenix storms off. Joaquin Phoenix storms off after Joker interview questions get under his skin. So have you been following like this online trend where people have been talking about how the Joker basically is going to inspire like a generation of like mass murderers and other entities and incels like that?
I have been following just this overall discussion of like the incel movement and the Joker, and I definitely see a correlation between the two. I definitely feel like they would connect to it, but at the same time, I think it's sort of a misnomer to say that they automatically would connect to it, or that because of that we shouldn't have the film. Like a big part of that movement is just the red pill, blue pill ideal, and that's from the Matrix, and that's nowhere near the cinematic or tone that the Joker is going for. So I think even if this movie wasn't made, they would have found another way of getting their message out using pop culture or film.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. And I do feel like people are just blowing it overboard when they're talking about this is going to inspire like serial killers and mass shooters, just because we already have those people already out in the universe, and I don't think a 2-hour film about a DC comic book character will be pushing them to like, hey, this is the motivation that I needed to really get my killing career started. But in an interview with the Telegraph, Joaquin Phoenix, he was asked if he feared that the movie might perversely end up inspiring exactly the kind of people it's about with potentially tragic results. And he replied, "Why would you ... No." And he muttered that before exiting. So how do you feel about just like his response?
I feel like it might have more to do with the fact that it seems like this movie, it seems like it's a lot more personal. Not to say like this is something he believes in, but I feel like for Jaquan, he's a very like he comes more from like the indie film side, so he does deal with these like more emotional, more dramatic movies on for most of his career. And so I feel like when he hears something like that, it's more upsetting to him than it would be if you were talking to a more mainstream artist or more popular movie artist, like maybe like ScarJo or a Hemsworth, because to him the message that the movie is sending is always supposed to be positive, and you're supposed to be focusing on the cinematography and the script writing and the film references, as opposed to how do I connect this to the political climate right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like just in the type of era that we are currently in, I feel like people aren't they're not hypersensitive, but I feel like they try to always like connect the dots, and sometimes there are no dots to connect. Just like I don't think a person is going to say, yeah, Joaquin Phoenix was the entity. Joaquin Phoenix playing the Joker was the entity who inspired me to do all these shootings. And but I'm going to see the Joker, but I do not have high expectations just because when it comes to the Joker, who is such a story character in the DC universe, for you to not use any of his background is it's kind of insulting. And I said this last podcast, it's kind of insulting to the comic book just world and comic books in general. Like you wouldn't do Harry Potter without the beginning or just like the basis. So it's kind of like the same thing in my opinion.
All right. Next story is Glow. Marcus, you must be excited about this.
So actually, I put this on here, and I kind of am excited, but I still haven't finished. I haven't even started season 3 of Glow. So, but yeah, it is the fourth and final season, and I put that on it just to be like a testament to the staying power of Glow. Just because, like with a lot of Netflix series, it's usually like 1 or 2 seasons for. So for this franchise to get up to 4 seasons, that's just truly remarkable in itself.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It definitely is a show that I think has made impact and has made a statement as far as Netflix content goes, and it definitely is going to make an impression on the future of Netflix originals.
Yeah, and I would just like to add that it is an original and it's based on a true story, and it really just shows that when you have good content will always beat out big noises and big flashes. Like as long as the content is good, that's really all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, but
So next up,
more streaming news. NBC enters the streaming wars. So, Morgan, are you a big fan of like? Do you watch any NBC shows on Netflix right now?
I no, I don't think I do actually.
So actually, I'm a huge The Office, Parks and Rec. Those are the two main shows that I normally watch Netflix for. But they announced like a few months ago that they're going to be off of Netflix, and they're heading to NBC's streaming service. And NBC launched the streaming service. Oh, Peacock. Oh, this week. Oh, so it launched this week, and it's and already the shows The Office and 30 Rock are already there. Top Boy and Country Music also are there as well. How do you feel about just all these streaming platforms? And also, I don't know if you saw this, but BET Plus is also out now as well.
I feel like this was inevitable, after the success of Netflix. Everybody wants to like make their own streaming service. And I get that many people are upset that everything's being split up and you're basically paying. Like a lot of people are saying we're basically going back to what cable was, which naturally is what automatically happens. And so it's just, to me, it's something that feels just almost inevitable to the point to where I don't care. I'll just pick the ones that I like and the ones that I think have any content that I actually want to watch, and that's it. And then all the other ones, I guess I'll just miss out I'm not gonna like go out of my way like pirate the shows or anything, because just honestly, I have enough content as it is with the few I watch.
Yeah, and also it's just because yeah, we do have a lot of just like content, and it's just so much. But I think the beauty of the era that we're in now with streaming wars is that these companies are competing for our time. So it's just like, okay, if ESPN Plus can't give me what I have, here's CBS All Access. If CBS All Access can't give me what I have, here's Hulu, here's Netflix, here's Funimation. So it's just like there's a variety of things out here that you can have access to, and I think access is the biggest thing that we have now. And it literally all it takes is just either like a cell phone or a Wi-Fi connection, and you have access to all of these things. So excuse me, although it's just like, although we still consumers don't have true power, it should feel good in this era to know that we have like control of what we digest and what we just digest as viewers, as content, just like lovers.
Yeah, definitely,
All right,
definitely.
but more of this. So speaking of, Kevin Hart has his own streaming service. Do you know the name of his streaming service?
Heart something.
uh Laughing Out Loud Network. So he has one as well. But Kevin Hart is he's going to war. I don't know, have you been paying attention to his current woes when it comes to like lawsuits and stuff?
I know he was getting sued, and I know he recently got into a car accident. So hopefully he recovers as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So Kevin Hart basically back in, I want to say 2016, his a sex tape leaked of him in Vegas with the woman who wasn't his wife, and the woman is now suing Kevin Hart for like, I think it's like 63 million. But she's saying that it was without her permission, and Kevin Hart did it just to get publicity. Uh Over here at 26 in Glencoe, we are always for the victims, but I will say a person like Kevin Hart, I don't think he needed added publicity.
yeah, that's where she's losing me.
Yeah. No, for sure. But this latest lawsuit, so basically during his car accident, Kevin Hart is a lover of old school muscle vehicles, and of course, when it comes with those type of vehicles, they don't have the type of safety precautions that vehicles that are made today have. And so when he bought a car and he customized it from a dealer, he said, "Hey, leave the safety harnesses off. I don't want to have that." And so when he got into a car accident, um, the security guard who was injured and the woman who was next to him were injured. They're suing him, and they're suing the company that he was with, just that he got his car customized by, because it broke the standards and it didn't have the correct safety harnesses. And something like this will change the way that the car industry looks at the old school muscle vehicles and how they are operated and customized today.
Definitely, it's definitely like people love those old cars, but change happens for a reason. I think we need to admit that it's time for us to let some of that stuff go. Like they might look nice, they might be nice, but the risk might be a bit too great, in my opinion.
Yeah, it also just comes like Kevin Hart is like I think he's worth a lot of money. So for him to just say, "Hey, skip this," knowing that he's going to have people who aren't necessarily his family in his car, that was just dumb on his decision, and he needs to not grow up, but he needs to like just be more mature about situations like this.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
next,
so from muscle cars to being muscle heads. So Kim and Kanye West get too wild with wildlife, and they're lectured from law enforcement. So Morgan, before I continue, Why do you think Kanye West was lectured by wildlife services?
Well, I know he was chasing antelope in Wyoming.
Okay. So, would you ever chase an antelope on an ATV?
No, I got better things to do in my life.
So yeah, let me let me just read this article from TMZ. The couple was issued a slight scolding over a video Kim posted last weekend in which it appears Kanye taking them from an ATV ride across the range as he chases some pronghorns, aka American antelope. At one point, it sounds like Kim shouts, "I think you're scaring them," and she's probably right, which is why there are laws against it. A spokesperson from the Wyoming Game and Fishing Department tells TMZ state laws prohibit this type of animal harassment. We're told that the department was made aware of Kim's video and paid a visit to the manager of Kanye West's new ranch to make sure everyone is aware of the rules pertaining to wildlife. We spoke with a source close to the couple who tell us they were simply cruising along when the animals came running by. Kim and Kanye came to a slow soon after the vid and let the pronghorns on their way. We're told it wasn't a chase and they never disturbed the animals. The good news for Kanye and Kim, they can simply be considered a lesson learned. We're told no formal complaint was filed against them, only angry calls, so there's currently no investigation into the incident. I think this is more of just like a common sense type of thing. Like I feel like just as humans in general, we like to invade other spaces. And so when we go into like these wild habitats and we have like all-terrain vehicles and they're like super loud, of course they're going to disturb the ecosystem there. And so just riding it through is going to mess up the balance of just like the wildlife there. So even in the video when Kim says, "I think you're scaring them," it's like, okay, you obviously knew what you were doing. And like I get it, just like you get the thrill, you get like the thrill and the chase he got from it, but it's like, come on, man, you know better than that.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it's just a lot of people don't have as much experience when it comes to like being with wildlife and not disturbing them, and it's a process that we need to learn as a culture.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I don't even want to say it's like a cultural thing just because it's not. I think this is more of just like rich privilege just because a person in like my stature would never go to Wyoming and be like, "Yo, let me ride these ATVs, scare these antelope." Like that just sounds nuts. But off of the front porch into the living room, Morgan, have you ever gone DM diving on Facebook?
No,
Or have you ever sent a risky Facebook message
no,
trying to talk to a woman, or you've never slid in the DMs?
no, Marcus. I don't annoy people with my presence like that.
Okay, have you ever DM'd somebody on Instagram? Have you slid into the DMs on Instagram?
No.
Okay, well, this was your life sounds boring then, and this happened
Oh,
2 weeks
please.
this happened 2 weeks ago, and we're just now talking about it. Facebook dating is officially live, and it's not only Facebook dating, but there's an Instagram interaction where you can talk to a person from Instagram on Facebook or from Facebook on Instagram on Facebook is it's really weird, but you have to sign up for it. But I will say something like this: Facebook is a place where you're supposed to build a community, so something like this isn't that surprising. The only thing that's scary to me is them having even more control of your data, of your access. Is like if you're trying to set a date over the Facebook dating app, it's like, okay, they already got that. And so, yeah, that's the thing. Morgan, will you be signing up for Facebook dating?
No.
Okay.
It's just it to me it's unnecessary and it's no.
Why do you
I
say
also don't use Facebook, so
Okay. All right,
I,
next. Oh, go ahead.
it's just bad. It's not something I think that needs to be around in my life.
Okay, next. Um, iOS 13. Morgan, I know you have an Android, so you can't really speak on this. iOS 13 officially dropped on Friday alongside the Apple 11, and I got the opportunity to look at and play around with the Apple 11 yesterday. It's super dope. It's a great. It's just a great phone. The camera's pretty awesome. If you check my, this is the Sunday. I may post a video about it. If you check my Instagram at one Marcus Flowers, I will have a photo of a picture that was taken off of the iPhone 11. Um, we finally have dark mode, so finally you can switch your phone into dark mode. I like the new emojis. We get to make our personal emojis now. It's just and I'm still trying to like figure it out and work it through. One of the things I do not like is how it deletes apps. So before, when you deleted apps, you just have to click on it and it will wiggle. Now you have to make sure. Now you have to like go an extra step, which is fine, but it's just like that's a hassle. But I completely understand. I feel like this is the best iOS update in the past few years, so I really do like it.
Mm.
All right, so next, Morgan, do you use fingerprints to open your cell phone or anything?
Yeah, I use a fingerprint reader to open my phone.
Yeah. So, but have you thought about fingerprints for your headphones? So these headphones can scan your ear canal for identification. So let me just read this. It's a novel biometric tool, and it uses sound waves to identify users based on the unique geometry of the ear canal, and that's something that's going to be pretty difficult for a would-be spoofer to uncover. So, of course, like with everything, and with everything when it comes to like our fingerprints, our faces, everything, it's unique to ourselves. So when we have like our ear canals, of course, our ear canals are unique. So with that, we can also these headphones will only work for your ear canals, which I think is super dope, and it's just the next level of innovation when it comes to technology. I also feel like this is another way that they are trying to get every part of us so they can finally make clones of us.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What do you mean you see how it goes?
I mean, like they always come out like they could say like, oh, we're gonna be scanning your ear canals, but like there's a good chance that it will come out and it will be slow and it won't work all the time and people will be very upset and they'll be like, we don't want this anymore. So it's just it's a step forward, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a new step.
Right, no, for sure, for sure. Final thing in the living room, e-cigarette are officially banned from Walmart. So, wow, wow, it's been a hard, tough fight. It only took 20 people dying for e-cigarettes to be banned from Walmart, a bill to be in New York and Michigan, but we still can't quite get the gun control thing under control. But e-cigarettes are banned. So vaping is basically vaping supplies and vaping cigarettes are basically banned from all Walmart locations. I do think that is good, just because when it comes to vaping, we don't quite know the side effects, and so when it comes to 10, 15, and 20 years from now, those kids who started vaping when they were like 12, 15, of course they're going to have like lifelong side effects, so we won't know sadly until it's that time. And so I think this is a step in the right direction, and hopefully we'll be able to have e-cigarettes banned everywhere.
All right.
Do you have anything to add?
Well, for me, the way I'm thinking about it is it's quite strange because we don't know the effects, but at the same time, it is a bit dangerous to because if you ban it, there might start up an illegal market, which would be even more dangerous than having a legal market that we can regulate, control, and look at. And so I think that's something that we have to think about. And also, it is kind of ironic that like they banned they banned vapes, but in those states you can still purchase cigarettes.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it is a weird situation. Next up, have you? I know you're not a big sports fan, but have you been following this Antonio Brown situation at all?
No.
Okay, so just imagine at the beginning of the year, you were making, you were set to make $30 million, and you had a sneaker contract. But 11, 11 months later, you have talked your way out of 30 million. You have your actions have talked you out of a $30 million deal and your sponsorship with Nike, and you're only set to make $150,000 this year. And that is what has happened to Pro Bowl wide receiver Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, if you guys do not know, I will fill you in. Antonio Brown was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He didn't like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then he went to the Oakland Raiders. He had cryotherapy with his. He went into the hyperbolic time chamber, or no, the ice, the crypto, whatever, some chamber, and his feet got frozen, burnt. Then he had an issue with his helmet, so Oakland decided to cut. Then Oakland fined him, so then Oakland cut ties with him. He was signed by the Patriots, played one game, and then he an article with Sports Illustrated came out, and it detailed another person who was sexually who alleged she was sexually abused by Antonio Brown, saying that she was painting something in his house when he came up behind her and just a towel over his private parts, and she got shafted out of money. And then on top of that, Antonio Brown put her and her manager in a group chat and was talking about her and put pictures of her kids up. And yeah, it's a mess. Antonio Brown should not be in the NFL. He shouldn't have access to the NFL or professional sports anywhere, just because when you've continued to show that you are an aggressive person, or not aggressive, but you are a manipulative person who uses their stardom to get things that they want, to shaft people who work for you, you shouldn't have that type of access anymore. You shouldn't have that type of privilege. So I think it makes complete sense. I'm sure some NFL team will give him a shot in a year or so. But yeah, and this morning we are recording on a Sunday. This morning AB came out and he said that the NFLPA needs to do a better job of protecting their players, which is completely true, completely right. He's completely accurate with that. The NFLPA is the worst players association in all of Major League Sports, but AB is not the horse of that vehicle just because he's in so deep. For him to point out what's wrong, it's like, hey, you can't do that. And even he pointed out to Robert Kraft being under investigation. He pointed out to Big Ben being under investigation. And so it's just like, okay, we get what you're trying to do. It's like, you can't say, hey, I'm a rapist, but look at these guys too. They're rapists too. That's not how it works. That's not how society is supposed to work. Of course, everybody should be punished. But you can't say, hey, I did this, but look at them too. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Morgan?
No, for me it just seems like I don't focus or pay attention much to the sports or NFL scene, but it seems to me like they have a problem with controlling their players or they're picking the wrong players. And that's just something that they need to get under control. They need to start uh, picking players and training them up. Like, if you're going to have a player, you need to have people that manage what they need to be doing because every bad thing they do just brings more heat on the NFL, and they don't need that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's not like the NFL is short of their controversies. The Patriots should not have even signed Antonio Brown after the first accusation, but the Patriots have this winning mindset where all they want to do is win and they'll be able to straighten a player out. Obviously, that's not how it works. So, yeah, it's just, I don't want to say unfortunate situation. It's just like, it seems like everybody got what they deserve. And once again, these are like $1 million athletes. This is $1 billion franchise, so it seems like everybody got what they deserve. Next up, I know you probably didn't see this because you're not in the world of MMA. So Jeremy Stephens, who he was in the UFC main event, and it was a 15-second no contest fight. And what happened was, 15 seconds into the match, his opponent, Yair Rodriguez, poked him in the eye, and he made a statement about it. He says, "Yar, you think I'm faking, bro? You're the one that poked me in the eye. Let's run it back in 4 or 5 weeks, 2 weeks or whatever. I'll be ready. It's just a deep scratch, deep bruise. You're the only one that poked me. Let's run it back, mother effer. Let's go." And I should have put. I think I'm gonna put a link to the video, but in the video, the fans were throwing popcorn and drinks and all this other stuff at Jeremy Stephens, and it just shows how entitled people feel that they are to people's to just like stars these days, and how they think they can act just because these are professionally trained fighters. If you saw them out on the street, you would not throw anything at them. You would treat them with respect, the way you should treat everybody with respect. But it's just like, you can't keep doing this. It's just like fans are getting too entitled, or they feel like they're too much of the inside to be able to have a voice. And at the end of the day, you're just a spectator.
Yeah, yeah. Again, there needs a way to hold these people accountable.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a big word that we use over here. Just accountability. People should be accountable for their actions, so it makes sense. Next up,
Yeah.
Dining room. So this is just something that I wanted to talk about, real quick. Morgan, did your school do anything with the climate change strike?
No, I don't believe they did.
Or did you know students who were active with the climate change strike?
No.
Okay, so on Friday, I want to say there were about 30,000 protests in the United States with people protesting not protesting climate change, advocating for climate change and global. No, I said that wrong. They're advocating for the sole stoppage of climate change and how global warming is ruining the environment, and how people who are like 10 years old, 5 years old won't have a safe place to live. And it was headed by Greta Thunberg, who was she was a 17-year-old Swedish activist, and she like traveled on like a coal-free ship to get to the United States, and corn power and all that stuff. And it was just a march, and I had the opportunity to cover it for my job. And it was dope just seeing people who were there talk about why they were there, trying to talk about like climate change and how serious of an issue it is. And if you want to know how serious of an issue it is, this has been the hottest. This just for the state of Colorado. This has been the hottest month of September ever on record for Colorado. It's still been hitting like 80 and 90 degrees at some points during the month, when normally it's usually cool at like 60, 70. And so we see the effects of global warming, even if you like look at little things like the leaves changing, or there's certain animals or bugs that used to come out that aren't out right now anymore. That usually are out at this time of year. So we slowly see it, and it's a very important issue that I think is kind of getting noticed now, but I think it's going to be too little, too late, just because last time I checked, we only have about 12 years until it's like past the point of no return.
Yeah, I mean, the problem we're running in with climate change is, again, there's just people who don't believe in it, and there's misinformation, there's miseducation, and I'm not sure that we're ever gonna come to a actual consensus. And I think if we're ever to try and fix this problem, we're just going to have to accept that there's going to be certain people we need to get rid of or we need to silence in order to move forward. Because some people just can't let go of tradition and what they believe. People love their routines.
Yeah, no, and it's not even routines. It's just like I just feel like people don't care. I think that's the biggest thing. People just don't care about what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, next, real quick. I know we've gone away from just like politics over here, but the 2020 election is going to be a bloodbath. I don't know if you've seen this, Morgan, with Rudy Giuliani and him admitting that he told Ukraine to get dirt on Joe Biden's son, who will potentially be Trump's opponent in Trump's opponent in 2020. Yeah, sorry, Morgan. And yeah, it's just it's like if this is the depth that they're trying to go through in September, even before a Democratic candidate is chosen, like who knows what they're gonna do like a year from now or even next summer. So it's just going to be horrible.
Yeah, they're definitely going to pull out all the stops as much as they possibly can. Uh, this is just going to be, it's going to be a really bad election cycle. It's not going to be happy. There's just going to be a lot, a lot of stuff. And honestly, I don't think there's really much anybody can do at this point. It's just things are at such a level that you can't bring it down. And it's going to be worse someplace where, like in Denver, Colorado, where it's like a swing state. So people just need to buckle up. This is about to get dirty.
Yeah. And yeah, and not only that, but it's like we haven't even seen the Republican side yet, and to see that they have just like said, "Oh, this isn't a cause for impeachment," it's just like, okay, if this isn't a cause for impeachment, then what is? It's going to get really bad, but make sure you get out and vote. But yeah, that's about it. Grand opening, grand closing. That's on you, Momo. So take it away.
So what I wanted to talk about was a show on Netflix that came out a couple of days ago. It's called Carol and Tuesday. For those of you guys who don't know, it's an anime made by one of the same artist directors who made like Cowboy Bebop. It is absolutely just beautiful. It is breathtaking. The music, I have it on a playlist like playing like almost all the time, and I really loved it. I want people to experience it. It's just something that you just have to experience. Like I've even had some of my friends who like aren't really into like music anime. I showed it to them. It is breathtaking, and it's just such a joy to see something at such a high quality of anime right now. It's got to be probably some of the best anime I've seen in 2019. So yeah, that's all I had to talk about, Marcus.
Okay, sounds good. That is episode 3. I mean, not episode 3. Volume 3, episode 22, end of the volume of the Super Flow Bro podcast. I am once again your host at One Marcus Flowers, aka Flo, aka call me what you want, just don't call me lazy. And I was once again joined by my co-host. Follow him on all social media platforms at Metro Meta. So Super Flow Bros comes out on Monday. We have a Dust Off the Cartridge dropping on Tuesday. We have a special, I know I said it last week, but life has been crazy. So we have a special podcast, I think, coming out sometime next week as well. So follow us on all social media platforms at 26 in Glencoe. Follow us at 26 in Glencoe on Instagram. Follow us at 26 in G on Twitter. 26 in Glencoe Media Network on Facebook. Make sure you follow on our YouTube page as well. 26 in Glencoe Media Network. And until next time, peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. Y'all know who it is, Metro Meta and
At one Marcus Flowers.
And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. We'd like to thank you even more if you, leave a like, a comment.
Subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe. Subscription.
Hey, don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel.
And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 in Glencoe Media Network.
Keep it real.